apparently lead roles for women have dropped. This is from the Wrap. So this is a study from in the last year, 2022 to 2023. Lead roles for women have dropped 14%. It doesn't feel like it.
I haven't noticed.
I don't know.
I've noticed, but it has to do with the fact that we have way more than 14% less comedies out there. And one of the things where women could be leads in was a comedy, a romantic comedy specifically. How many of those have we seen over the last 5-6 years?
Yeah, because they don't know how to do comedy, so that would make sense.
Well, it's
the
not that
picture
they
they
don't know how to do
choose,
it. It's
this
they
picture
don't
for
sell.
was a Joyride was a great movie.
It was a really good movie.
I loved it.
I meant comedy like modern Tropic Thunder type of fun comedy that they don't know how to do because
like
they're all
Joyride.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well the thing is, it's one of the
I'd
things that
watch
they're
that.
apprehensive to that is every feature film that a studio puts out has to work on the international market, and localizing a comedy is a difficult thing. Deadpool and Wolverine is a miracle in that regards.
Yeah.
But yeah, something like Joyride, which I thought was okay. I mean, I've seen better comedies from on the independent side than that, but it was good for what it was. It was trying to be edgy, it was trying to be raunchy, it was trying to reinvigorate what people wanted to see in comedies again. But the genre is not dead for a lack of the audience. The genre is dead because studios are just not confident in getting their money back on the international market. They don't realize that comedy is supposed to be a domestic return product. It's supposed to be under 20 million. You make it for the localized audience, you make it for the United States and other English-speaking countries. That's your target demographic. They're so concerned about China, about parts of Russia, about India, about all those other demographics that a lot of our culture doesn't always translate into for them. And they look at that as instead of looking at it as like seizing the most money in the markets we can get, they look at that as those are markets that don't want this stuff. Therefore, it's money lost. Therefore, we're not going to invest in it. And that's what hurts us. And that's why women.
Yeah, that was my question. What's the box office for these lead roles for women films looking like? Are they also dropping? Because that could explain the reason why they're not putting them in as lead roles. Is
in the
we're
genre,
not getting the return on our investment.
If they're not in the right genre, then yeah, it's obviously going to drop. I mean, the Marvels was what, like 350 million worldwide or something like that. 3 main leads in a genre that women don't really care about. But you take a look at Anyone But You, Sydney Sweeney, main lead, romantic comedy,
They
blew
went
up.
to see Barbie.
Did this include 2023 or to the beginning of 2023? It's just 1 year.
It is funny. More men went to go see the Marvels than women. Like just by demographic, more men went to go see. We get attacked.
More men are comic fans. That's why more men.
What? How dare you say that very true thing that they've ignored?
Yeah, I really honestly haven't noticed. I feel like there's a lot of media that features female leads that are successful.
So oversaturated,
but
you don't even notice.
But there are just ones that don't land right. It's just not conceived well. It's not produced well, poor quality all across the board. And yes, those won't do well and maybe will require a pivot. If you're trying to force women into or female stories into certain things, I think that's not working. But you have shows like Bridgerton, you have other shows that are specifically for women, and that there's tons of even
House of
in
the Dragon.
sci-fi,
House of the Dragon has 2 women at the forefront
and Fallout,
right now.
Arcane, and in this year, I mean, Dune had a lot of female leads.
I mean, is this a level set as well? Are they, maybe it was up from previous years and now it's just kind of dropping back to normal? I don't know.
They also were looking for this.
Tell me a lot. Just saying for 1 year it dropped 14%. That doesn't tell me, overall, snapshot of the industry.
They were looking for this answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the data that you want to find. You can always find data wherever you want to find. Exactly, Rob. Exactly.
And that's one of the things I think is very disingenuous. We live in a very insincere time. And a lot of these studies, they keep poking this thing. I mean, they want us to believe that there's this horrible oppression happening in the entertainment business. And the fact is, you can do anything you want if you want to do it. I don't believe in gatekeeping in Hollywood. There's gatekeeping at studios because it's all about money. And what Script Doctor was saying, comedies are colloquial. What one country finds funny, another country doesn't understand. So it makes sense. The problem is the studios are no longer in the business of making domestic movies. They're only in the business of making worldwide global hits. They've forgotten. You know, unless you look at Neon. Neon made off Long Legs. I don't know how they spent on it. It's how much money they spent on it, but they've made over $70 million. It's their biggest hit. Now a studio's like 70 million, you know, but if you made 70 million on a 10 million or $15 million spend, that's hugely profitable. But the studios are only interested in what Wall Street finds sexy. You know what's cool? $1 billion, as our friends, as Sean Parker said in The Social Network. And this is the entire problem. It's the entire problem with our whole civilization. People are chasing global amounts of money when really you can have a very profitable business if you look at it locally. Why aren't they making $25 million comedies that gross 200 million? You make 4 of those a year. That's a great business, but it's maybe not a business that Wall Street finds acceptable because they want you to make billions. But that is the kind of thinking that is destroying our capitalist system.
Yeah, I want to read the headline, the subhead here. It's a quote from USC's Dr. Stacy L. Smith. If the industry wants to survive its current moment, it must examine its failure to employ half the population.
Where's that math?
Well,
how does that math work out?
That is some weird math, because one thing that I was oversaturated with after John Wick came out was everyone wanted to do guy with a gun, but the gimmick was it's got to be a girl with a gun. And I can't tell you how many screenplays I had to read of female lead action stars just piling through my email, just putting it up, thousands of emails of, you got to do, I need coverage of this. It's coverage of this. What is it? Girl with a gun, or girl female lead, girl spy, girl superhero, girl actioneer, girl detective, all those types of things. I mean, what Dante pointed out, yeah, there was an oversaturation of it. We had way too much. And now maybe this is starting to balance out again, because for a while there, who's the biggest male lead that came out over the last 10 years? Henry Cavill tried, but people aren't really showing up for his stuff. Glenn Powell is on the rise, but you know, he's still maybe a good year out before we actually start acknowledging that. Tom Cruise is the last big male lead, and he started in the 80s. So who's the new male lead? Who's the new voice? Like Bradley Cooper came and went. Nobody's paying attention to him anymore. It's out there. It's because we've been oversat. We have all these other female leads. There's a lot of female actors we are well aware of now. Why do we know them as household names so easily? Well, they've been in movies that are outside of the normal genre for them, and they've also been terrible.